This capability has made this missile a critical addition to Ukraine's war arsenal. Kyiv first received 2,000 NLAW systems from the United Kingdom prior to the outbreak of the invasion in February 2022. The use of these missiles has proven to be quite formidable for Ukraine's troops. One of the lesser recognized yet equally impactful anti-armor weapons being used in the Russia-Ukraine war is called NLAW, a lightweight, portable missile used by dismounted infantry. The weapon was made by Saab Bofors Dynamics as a joint UK-Swedish venture intended to bring new weapon support to infantry on the move in combat. As a portable, lightweight weapon, the NLAW is an optimal weapon to be used in an ambush by maneuvering soldiers, as well as hit-and-run attacks on light armored vehicles, buildings, or concentrated groups of enemy fighters. The weapon is optimally suited for top-down attacks, as it may not fully penetrate heavy armor, but is likely to be extremely lethal if used to attack more vulnerable areas of an enemy vehicle from an elevated position. It has night vision for targeting and both a point of contact and proximity fuse detonation. The NLAW fires a standard heat or high explosive anti-tank round. Available specs say the NLAW is a line-of-sight weapon, meaning it is guided by direct human targeting within line of sight, using a soft launch system. It is a one-shot disposable weapon that can be discarded after use, but as a highly transportable weapon, the NLAW has proven effective against Russian vehicles in Ukraine. The NLAW has been used alongside the similar and well-known Javelin anti-tank missile, which has also proven effective in Ukraine. While the Javelin is a soldier-portable weapon as well, it is longer range and potentially more lethal than the NLAW. The NLAW is a close-in-fight weapon, even more than a Javelin, as it has a shorter range of roughly 1,000 meters. The NLAW is a weapon that infantry can use against vehicles in any exchange of fire or combat encounters with a larger mechanized force. This kind of weapon has been critical for Ukrainians as part of the ongoing push to stop Russia's invasion and continue to reclaim territory. The United Kingdom reportedly sent 2,000 NLAWs to Ukraine in March of 2022, and the weapons have reportedly been extremely successful against Russian vehicles. The NLAW's heat warhead is likely quite similar to the Javelin, yet with a clearly shorter range and without the advanced optics, targeting and range now built into the Javelin. There is also a tactical component to the NLAW and similar anti-tank weapons, meaning can be used from dismounted disaggregated positions against tanks and other vehicle targets. Ukrainians have been using elevated positions to attack tanks where they are most vulnerable. Multiple reports and open source data on the war suggest Ukrainians have destroyed at least 1,000 to 2,000 Russian tanks. Chris Osborne is the military affairs editor of 1945 and president of Warrior Maven Center for Military Modernization. Osborne previously served at the Pentagon as a highly qualified expert with the Office of the Assistant Secretary of the Army Acquisition, Logistics and Technology. Osborne has also worked as an anchor and on-air military specialist at national TV networks. He has appeared as a guest military expert on Fox News, MSNBC, the Military Channel, and the History Channel. He also has a master's degree in comparative literature from Columbia University. Ukrainian troops successfully use short-range portable anti-tank guided missiles against legal passenger armored vehicles provided to us by Great Britain. Today we will talk about this powerful weapon in more detail. Thanks to the wide range of modern weapons that Ukraine received from our Western partners, the armed forces managed to repel the attacks of the invaders despite the numerical superiority of Russian weapons. Along the front line, they felt the power of the armed forces, the National Guard, and the People's Liberation Army soldiers. The enemy suffered devastating defeats on many fronts. A huge amount of enemy equipment was destroyed, and the advantage became more and more illusory. Everyday missile complexes, including launchers that destroyed aircraft and ground units of the aggressor, were of great importance here. This powerful weapon helped our military not only stop the enemy from destroying hundreds of BMP tanks, armored personnel carriers and their armored vehicles, but also pushed him back from the occupied position. We have already written about several missile systems, both anti-missile and anti-tank. Today we will get acquainted with the powerful NLAW anti-tank missiles, which were recently delivered to Ukraine by the British C-17 Globemaster III transport aircraft. NLAW, or a new generation of light anti-tank weapons. NLAW is an anti-tank missile jointly developed by the United Kingdom, Thales Air Defence, and Sweden, Saab Bofors Dynamics. This weapon is already in service in 9 countries. The latest recipient is Ukraine itself. As the name implies, this is a new generation rocket. This anti-tank missile belongs to the same class as Javelin, TOW or Spike. The developers tried to make it less heavy, but the fact that the rocket has smaller dimensions and weight does not at all mean worse efficiency compared to analogs, and even has advantages in use under certain conditions. NLAW can effectively attack targets from 20 meters to 800 meters. The upper limit is for stationary targets, and the maximum distance for moving targets is 600 meters. For comparison, javelins can attack targets at a distance of more than 2,000 meters, and in some variants, and uses up to 5,000 meters. Therefore, the difference here is huge. However, its minimum value is important, which is 20 meters. The heavier missiles mentioned above cannot hit targets from such a distance. NLAW has the ability to attack from very close range, which can be very important during battles in urban environments. The word lightweight, which is present in the name of the rocket, indicates its lightweight, which is very important for use by infantry. NLAW is controlled by one fighter and weighs only 12.5 kilograms, so there are no problems with its portability and use, even in difficult terrain. The manufacturer also claims that the rocket can be stored for 20 years, and even after that period, it will work as intended. What goals can NLAW achieve? We have already talked about the distances at which NLAW can work, but we have not yet indicated the most important thing: what targets this missile can reach. According to the manufacturer, this missile can effectively attack all types of modern main battle tanks. The manufacturer claims that NLAW can penetrate armor up to 500 millimeters thick. The time from the detection of the target to its destruction is only 5 seconds, so any active defensive actions of the tank crew are limited. The manufacturer notes that it is almost impossible to defend against NLAW attacks. The undoubted advantage of the rocket is the ability to attack from different positions. The operator can be in a trench, hiding, for example, behind a tree, or shoot from a shelter, the upper floors of a building, or from the basement. The NLAW will still fly to the specified target. In addition, it is possible to launch a rocket, even at an angle of 45 degrees, or do it from inside the building. All this is very important during the battle in urban conditions. NLAW is hard to fool. According to the manufacturer, the NLAW system works in such a way that it is difficult to deceive. Although tanks are equipped with self-defense systems, and terrain conditions can make the task of the shooter even more difficult, NLAW has an inertial guidance system with a line-of-sight bias, which means that it cannot capture engine heat or electromagnetic radiation. For example, the operator's task is to track the target for a few seconds through a computerized sight, and then pull the trigger. Everything else is done by the rocket itself. That is, it works according to the principle, shoot and forget. NLAW missiles can be used in two main modes. The first mode is effective against tanks because it attacks from above, in places where modern combat vehicles have relatively weak protection. The second mode is aimed at direct fire and attacking lightly armored targets or enemy units in buildings and fortifications. The attack from above mode can be used even if the target is only 20 meters away from the operator. Equally important, the operator operating the NLAW does not need to see the entire tank as a whole. It is enough for him to track only part of the tank, and the missile itself will be able to adjust its flight path in such a way as to effectively destroy the object. The direct attack mode of the NLAW can be used to destroy non-armored vehicles as well as helicopters.